Hello.
Hello and welcome back to tasting number 2 of our May box.
Why? Are you okay?
No, I've been terrible since January 2020.
But you are traveling to this weekend, right?
So I am going this Friday afternoon. So as soon as I finish work, go home, pick up my bag, and by 9:30 or maybe 10 o'clock, I'll be drinking gallons of Asturian cider in Gijón. And then Saturday and Sunday, some tourism, lots of food. Then I'll come back Sunday evening. Problem is, it's going to be raining all weekend. That's good.
Wow.
Because I am Luke Darragott and I do not have any luck. But anyway.
Classic
Darragott. But it's nice to have a little escape. We are now, if you're watching us in the present time, Madrid is now open for business. Well, we can leave Madrid, basically. Bars are opening a bit later, and there's no curfew. So if I go to Roque's house, or I go to someone's house, or someone comes to my house, at 11 o'clock, normally we have to be in bed. But now we can do whatever we want.
You don't have to run back as a criminal.
Yeah, I know.
It's 11.
I'm sorry. The worst I did was last Friday. I went to a friend's house and it was 11:45, and I was like, oh my god, and I left. People everywhere. I was like, yeah, no one cares in the
Like
city.
rats.
Yeah, like rats, drunken rats. Anyway.
Well, what are we drinking today?
We really like this wine. Can you see that?
Cañus Verus. Wait. Another wine from Toro?
Yeah. So yeah, this is a wine from Toro, but this is going to help us talk about two parts of the wine world, one business, one viticulture, which are maybe not very sexy, but we need to talk about.
Yeah.
One's a very interesting business practice, one's a
And
bit of
you
refill.
need to learn about this, because you will look like a pretentious asshole next time with your friends.
Channel your inner Luke Darragott.
Yeah.
So we have done Toro, so we'll do a little very quick thing. We're not going to talk too much about Toro. Obviously the grape, we can probably guess what it is. We're not going to talk too much about the grape either. So today we're going to use this wine, which is a very, very tasty, delicious wine, one of our new recruits to the shop. We're going to use this wine as a way of expanding on a couple of different topics. But it is still a wine, god damn it. So we need to do...
Prepare your tasting sheet.
It sounds like you're saying you're tasting... Prepare your tasting sheet. I didn't swear. I said sheet. You can't get me, YouTube.
So, that's an exciting weekend for you. It's the first time you live in Madrid in a long time, right?
The last thing I did was in summer last year. I went for a couple of days to the south of France and a couple of days to Malaga, and I had 3 little weekends, and that was it in the whole year, which for some people is very good. For me, that is like abuse. I need to travel. So I will go, hopefully I'll go home in July for a week and a bit, maybe. But we'll see what happens, because my country's all over the place as well.
No.
But this is my first time.
For them, Spain is still in the red list.
No, we're amber. We are orange now.
Oh.
We're officially, but that's for people
Coming here.
So we'll see what happens in July if I go home. But the good thing is, if you're watching this live or in the future, the vaccines are speeding up in Spain now, which is good. So hopefully, who knows? Maybe by July we may even get it. I have friends. Debbie, teacher, she's got her first one. Victor, Joey's boyfriend, has one. So maybe we'll get our vaccine.
Maybe. But anyway, we are going to try this wine. If you have any doubts, questions, comments, you don't like us or whatever, leave us in comments, please.
We will answer them.
Yes, take care of your grammar.
Roque is an orthography fiend.
If it's not grammarly correct, we will not answer.
Yeah, so screw you. Well, before everything, let's have a cheers.
Cheers!
Salud.
Ooh,
That's nice.
that's very Toro.
So Toro.
Well, Toro is a little region. It's not wine from the animal Toro.
This is bull wine, extracted from bulls. It's just beautiful textbook Toro.
Yeah.
Do you know that expression?
Yes.
Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
Yes. You go to the page Toro and you go scratch.
And you see Cañus Verus.
You see this, yeah.
So let's start. Wine. Cañus Verus, Viñas, Viejas.
Yeah, so it should say, old vines. So these are vines you see there from 80 years of age.
Vintage.
2016.
Grapes. Classic Tempranillo.
Or with the local name, Tinta De Toro.
Tinta De Toro is
Inky grape of Toro.
the name of Tinta De Toro. It's not... It has another name because it is not exactly the same. It is a little bit more thicker, the skin of the Tinta De Toro. It's a little
Actually,
bit rough.
why don't you throw the photo of the grape now? Because we're not going to talk too much. We might as well mention it now. Tinta De Toro is... it should be there. Yeah, it's got the name Tinta De Toro.
Oh, Jesus.
Read.
Look,
I found a really cool...
I don't like your handwriting.
No, it's not handwriting. It's literally... so Tinta De Toro, I found a really pretty photo of the grapes surrounded by these autumn leaves. So this is just when the grapes are going to be picked. And you can see
Here
they're
he comes.
beautiful, dark, juicy beasts. But they are Tempranillo, but like Rocky says, the skins are thicker. So this is what we call a clone. So depending on where you grow a grape over the centuries, and maybe even millennia, but over the centuries, the grapes will adapt to their surroundings like animals do, which is why animals in hotter places have thinner hair and bigger ears and taller legs, whereas that same animal, maybe in a cold country, will be shorter, fatter, furry or whatever. Same thing happens with grapes. So this is Vitis vinifera, and it is Tempranillo. It is genetically exactly the same. It's just had these sort of local acclimatization. So it gives you denser wines.
You asked me for the first time what Cañus Verus means.
Yeah. Cañus.
It seems to be Latin, but it happens that the character ñ, the Spanish
is not
N
in Latin.
It's not in Latin, so Cañus is not a Latin word. Cañus would be dog, and Verus is real.
The real dog.
But I'm pretty sure they don't want to mean that.
No. So if you're listening and you're an avid Latinophile, please let us know.
Yeah. Anyway, region Toro and producer Covi Toro.
Covi Toro. So Covitoro. Covi Toro.
This is one of the things we would talk later. But now, let's focus on the wine. Visual.
Super dark. Really
dark. This
inky.
is the classic, one of the classic signs of Toro wine.
It does stick to the glass as well. You can see when I say stick to the glass, when you swirl it and you can see a sort of very faded purple veil following it. That's how you know it's a deep.
What is the aging of this wine?
It's an average of 10 months. So what you have here, you have a red wine. It's more than 80-year-old vines, 10 to 12 months, but on average they say 10. But it depends because they have Roble Frances, so American and French oak involved. So they'll age maybe indifferently. But this one officially says 10 months. So it's not a full 12 months classic. It's not a Hovenstau. It's like in the middle. Okay. And then they have another 12 months minimum in the bottle for everything to sort of settle down, basically.
I love the taste. It's ripe fruit.
Whoa, I haven't done the smell yet.
Yeah, but I love the taste.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so.
About the other ones, I can say it's very intense.
There is vanilla.
Dense.
It's meaty. It's carnoso.
Creamy oak.
Yeah.
Black fruit.
This is a really weird thing to say, but it really smells Spanish.
Yeah. It reminds me when you open a have you ever bought one of these jars or bags with dry herbs, Mediterranean herbs, Provence herbs? Mm-hmm. When you smell the mix of dry herbs, is that aroma?
It does, because I was thinking the similar idea, and I think yours is more correct with, bear with me, instant coffee. But the same thing when you first take off the aluminium, it goes like that initial roasted smell. Not after, but that first little roasted explosion of coffee beans.
He will die alone.
Yep. Right, let's have a tasty now. Wonderful, strong tannins.
Yeah, ripe tannins.
Really ripe tannins. Really juicy wine as well.
Love it.
And again, it has a sort of a savoury note. Un toque salado, like a savoury, meaty note as well. This is, like it was a textbook Toro wine. If you want to know, good value wine from this region, this one.
And the acidity?
Pretty good. Didn't quite go.
Wow.
Yeah, this is why these kind of wines are perfect, because really heavy, really strong, really dry. Still feeling it. The chemical acidity is making you salivate still, so it's kind of really well balanced wine, but it will also make it go well with food, all this kind of stuff. Well, speaking of food, dead meat, steak. This is classic. This is your classic
foie gras,
Castilian red wine for meat.
Or even more, one of those stews, like from a nice fabada.
A nice estofado or something.
Or a huevos rotos. Oh.
I made some huevos rotos the other day. Do you want to see the photo?
I'm not sure I want to see that.
It was a homemade version with roast potatoes. They are pretty good.
Oh yeah, they look really good.
Okay. There we go.
Wait a second. There's a library picture from
stock photo. So it was. I don't at home make chips very often. Deep frying in oil, not very healthy. So I roasted potatoes in salt, pepper, whatever, olive oil, bit of cumin and paprika. Then 2 fried eggs, of course, on top, and then some nice Asturian chorizo fried on the side. And in the chorizo, I added a little bit of soy sauce, just a tiny little bit.
You overwork your recipes.
I'm Basque. You're
not Basque. You're.
Would you tell Arzak? Would you tell Arzak you overwork your recipes?
You are from Brexitland.
Yes.
You are not Basque.
Like we said, Lund, I'm from Brexitland. What we would say. And then on top, some nice chunky rock salt. That was it.
That's too much.
No, it's not.
That's too much. Keep it simple.
You were like, "This is amazing," and then I said soy sauce. You were like, "Oh, dirty foreign stuff."
Soy is...
What? Soy is what?
It's not... It doesn't belong to our gastronomy.
Again, tell that to El Bulli. I am the Ferran Adria of Carlos Arniches Street. Right. But yeah, nice strong dishes. By the way, huevos rotos is one of the best unknown dishes of Spain. It's just potatoes, eggs, like ham and stuff.
And then you break it all together, you smash it.
Yeah, the photo of that bit didn't look very nice.
I am sure about that. Pairing... That's the ideas. The glass.
Quite a nice big one, I think. I mean, this is still only 10 months, but it's quite aromatic, so a nice big glass would be good.
Temperature, keep it 17, 18,
yeah.
17,
the
18.
Official, they say 16 to 18. Yeah. Perfect.
And the price?
This is a steal. $9.99, or $9.90, really.
This is a really good bargain. Actually, they did a good bargain to us for being in the box, and we found it very interesting for these two good topics we want to talk to you about today. We should start with the...
I think we should mention the winery.
Okay.
Why? Because that's what we do.
Okay.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Martín Padín, soy el enólogo de Bodegas Covitoro. Bodegas Covitoro es una bodega que se formó en el año 1978 por unos viticultores de la zona, de aquí de Toro y alrededores, zona de San Román, Villa Ester, la zona de Toro, El Pego, Villabuena, y formaron una bodega en la cual, con el potencial que tenían de viñedos viejos, de 60, 70 años que tenían en aquel entonces, para potenciar los vinos que se comercializaban en esta zona. Pasados los años, pues la bodega ha cambiado su nombre como Bodegas Toro y fueron implantando nuevas elaboraciones o nuevas técnicas para llegar al punto donde hemos llegado a la marca de Cañus Verus. Cañus Verus es un vino que se hace con esos viñedos que hablamos anteriormente, en torno a 70, 80, 100 años de antigüedad, la mayor parte de ellos plantados en franca de pie, en pie franco, y una vez que llegan a la bodega son fermentados en tinas de madera de 6.000 kilos, donde hacen la fermentación alcohólica y posteriormente en esas tinas hacen la maloláctica para terminar su crianza en estas barricas que tengo aquí atrás de roble francés, un 70% y un 30% americano, durante 12-14 meses hasta su posterior comercialización. Lo vamos a catar y vamos a hablar un poco de las peculiaridades del vino. En la fase visual vemos que es un vino de capa media alta, con sus notas aún azuladas, que nota que es un vino que aún tiene mucha vida, mucha longevidad, ¿no? En nariz nos encontramos una fruta muy madura, una fruta compotada, una fruta negra, grosella, mora. También notamos esas notas de ahumados, esas notas de chocolates que nos ha dado la crianza en barrica. Y si lo metemos en boca, vemos que es un vino que tiene un tanino suave, es un vino que es muy largo, muy estructurado y a su vez muy fácil de beber. Yo creo que un vino muy apetecible para cualquier tipo de comidas, sobre todo las comidas de carnes rojas o carnes un poquito más, o platos más contundentes como pueden ser grisos, fabadas o todo tipo de legumbres. Espero que les guste y que lo puedan probar.
When you mean Toro, you mean
This beautiful, majestic...
industrial box cube.
I mean, this is the thing. We always say, don't judge a book by its cover. Not every bodega has to be beautiful to make great wines. Some of the best wine in Madrid is made at some of the ugliest places I've ever seen. I would say...
But it's not ugly. It's not.
I mean, it's not ugly. It's just a box. It's a box, which is fine. There's no problem with that. Lithinia, Bodegas Lithinia in Madrid, probably my favorite Madrid red wine. It's a piece of artwork, that wine. The bodega's not beautiful, but I think people have this sometimes false, image that
You want to project your
Tuscan,
feelings about the wine to
Tuscan Viñas. It's like no, a lot of wineries are just farms with buildings, which is absolutely fine. And this one is second generation, I think. It's from 1974, so it's not an old bodega, as you can see. Their first harvest was in 1978, and it was a group of local viticultors who came together to form it. It's sort of a similar concept to a cooperative, but it wasn't a cooperativa in that sense. It was just different viticultors who came together and created Toro. They make Cañus Verus, they make Cermeño, they have different wines. What's interesting is this bodega was working about 10 years before Denominación de Origen Toro, which was in 1987, the best year. That's my year. What? Anyway.
We better go back to the...
What is useful about this is there's two things. First of all, this is a modern winery. They have all the modern, up-to-date technology, so it's not... they're not playing the tradition card. We're modern. We're making wines with all the latest technology. But they're very lucky because they're quite an old concept of a winery. Before the DO, they've got lots of lovely old vines. So almost, this is their, cheap and cheerful. It's not even €10, and it's lovely old 80-year-old vines, which is quite cool. I have a photo of Viñas Viejas. I think there is one. If there isn't, I don't know. But I thought I found one. Cepa Vieja, there it is. Bit down a bit. I want to show you what an old vine means. Look at this gnarly old vine. In Toro, you get what we call bush vines a lot, and a bush vine is basically when they stand alone. In Spanish, they call it en vaso, which means in a glass, which is a nice little expression. It's a beautiful
they
thing.
look like a glass of wine.
They look like an old witch's knuckle. It's like a horrible wizened hand. But that's an old vine, and they separate them apart so that they don't they get enough nutrients, otherwise they'll die. And it's old. Now we've mentioned this many times why there are not too many old vines, because of the mythical phylloxera that killed them all. But in this area in Toro, there's famously quite a lot of Viñas Viejas.
Oh.
Hang on, what am I doing here? There we go. Viñas Viejas don't mean the wine's better. I was having a very good conversation last weekend with a Madrid winery owner, and he was like, look, we have old vines and new vines. The beautiful thing about the old vine is it's a self-sufficient little system that can tick along, good years, bad years. It knows how to auto-regulate. Whether the wine is that much more intense, because the not myth, but the marketing says old vine wines are more intense, more dark. But this guy was like, no, because if you can control the yield and you can extract, you can do processes with younger vines to get it basically exactly the same as an old vine. Old vines are good because it's better for the winemaker. It's easier in the garden, so to speak. But more about vines later. But that is what you're drinking from now.
Old wine.
So yeah.
So
What do you want to begin with? Do you want to begin with?
I would like to talk a little bit about Toro, although we have mentioned previously.
In case
we
you haven't seen.
Yes. But remember, you have the whiskey barrel tasting, the Rodriguez Sanzo tasting in the channel that you can watch if you want to go deeper into Toro. But Toro is this little region located in the northwest
Northwest of Madrid, kind of.
northwest of Castilla y León.
León.
Yes, it's in the province of Zamora. It is not very big. It is 5,700 hectares. And the production there is not one of the highest of Spain. It's just 11 million liters of wine. That for Spain is not that much. But it's one of the most well-known wine regions because of the personality of the wines.
I think it's an easy to understand region, I think.
Yes. It's like the big boy, the hooligan of Castilla y León.
Did you know that Toro wines were some of the very first early peninsular red wines to go to the New World? Because they are the big boy, because they're big and strong, the structure of the wine made it easy for them to make the journey to the New World.
Really?
So some of the first wines, actually red wines from Spain to the New World, were Toro wines.
Oh, right.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, it's like you say, the Daracots, they have like a better constitution of the body constitution.
Yes, well,
they are stronger, so they would be the first to conquer the moon and Mars.
Yes, Toro.
I would send a Daracot there.
Yes, Toros are the Daracots of the wine.
And they will reproduce like cockroaches.
Well, not really. I don't have a girlfriend. My brother doesn't have a girlfriend. We're not a very reproductive family.
Oh yeah.
Our family, we are like.
You are very persistent, but not.
Yeah, our family, we are old vines. We're not very productive.
We're
very
born
very
already
concentrated.
old
We're
vine.
concentrated, yeah. And self-sufficient.
The weather is extremely continental, but it still has Atlantic influences. It's very close to Portugal. It's very close to that area with more Atlantic
just
influences.
a little bit. A little bit north and west. You've got mountains, I suppose, a little bit comparatively closer.
The winters there are harsh, with extreme minimum temperatures, and the summers are short. Not excessively hot, But they have significant fluctuations between day and night, and that is the secret of the main character of the grape of the Tinta De Toro. They are very conservative in not political terms, in wine terms, about the grapes, the allowed grapes. The main grape there is Tempranillo, that has a different name, as we said before, Tinta De Toro. But they are also allowed Garnacha, but in a maximum percentage of
15, 20,
25,
yeah, 25.
something like that. Only blended, and maximum 20, that percentage. That is not really significant. If you're going to go further with the Garnacha, you're out. You're out.
Burn your vineyards.
Yes. No, we know winemakers that they have gone with the 50-50 Garnacha Tempranillo in that area, and they label their wines as Vino de la Tierra de Castilla y León. And what else? They also have whites, they have rosé.
Well, we should say, these guys have a brand new Malvasia.
Yes, Malvasia is the main white grape there.
And it was brilliant. I mean, we
love it. We love it.
We had a very big, 2 Mondays ago, had a very big Monday. And I think the best wine was the white wine.
Why don't you talk about my paella?
What we did on the last one. I'm not going to talk about your paella on every single one.
Why not?
I said that, actually, my friend Heather, she was like, how was the paella? I genuinely said, I think it's one of the best rices I've ever had. Ever. Restaurant, no restaurant, ever. The Roque Madrid tapas bar and arroceria coming soon.
Well, just a quick mention about how is the market organized. 63% of Toro wine goes here, and the other one, the rest, goes abroad.
That's pretty equal. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is a thing. Speaking of market, a business. Should we use this as a moment to talk about this fascinating topic that you thought would be good for today?
Yeah.
Take it away.
For talking, I would like to introduce this topic and inviting you to do something. Take your bottle of Cañus Verus.
Or any bottle of wine you have, but in this case... No?
No.
I'll see you later.
Grab your bottle of Cañus Verus. You're scaring my dogs. And check here in this little text here. You will see embotellado, elaborado y embotellado por Bodegas Covitoro. That means this wine has been made and bottled by Covitoro wineries. Mm-hmm. But you will see, if you check other bottles around you,
got excited,
that sometimes you will see it's made by someone and bottled for someone else. That is what we call in the wine world as a por para.
So I guess it'd be a by for, but it sounds better in Spanish.
Yeah.
Por y para.
Por para. Yeah, it's made by someone for someone else. And this is the topic I wanted to talk now. I'm pretty sure you know
My dad does.
the wine Matsu. Matsu, as the images you are watching right now, it's the famous brand of wines from Toro. That is a por para wine. That is these ones.
Fantastic wines.
Yes, really good wines. Okay, these wines are made in Covitoro wineries.
What?
Yes, but they are made for the Vintae group, that is the ones in charge of the branding of the wine.
So por Covitoro.
Por Covitoro para Vintae.
Para Matsu, yeah.
And they created wines for other people. Even you, I mean, this is not that uncommon, that rare. If you want, you can buy wine from a winery and create your label and create your brand and have the wine made by someone else.
Which we thought maybe one day we
Yes,
could have
we can do it.
wine.
Yes, we would love the idea. This is not because sometimes it sounds like
It sounds like false advertising, maybe.
yes, but it's not.
It's
I mean,
not.
it's much more common and usual than you imagine.
Yeah.
And we chose this wine because we knew that we were pretty sure that a lot of you know the Matsu wines. We love Matsu wines.
They're fantastic.
We sell these wines from the very first day of this shop, and they are always in the bestsellers chart because they are really good wine, because they are good wine.
Because Cañus Toro makes good wine.
But this is the perfect example for explaining this part of the business of wine. Do you wanna?
Well, I was going to say, like, what is interesting, because the dog's eating some crackers on the floor. So we have all of the Matsu wines, which are very, very good wines. And what was interesting is because it almost sounded too good to be true, because we have the 6th month aged Matsu wine. We have the 14-month aged Matsu wine, and the 16-month aged Matsu wine, and the Cañus Toro, Cañus Verus, 10. It's almost like it's like in my head I was like, it's almost like this could be a Matsu, but they've gone, no, we'll keep the 10. That's ours. It's really intriguing. But yeah, what is interesting is the Matsu, which they don't make. I mean, I don't know to what extent every aspect is Cañus Toro and they just go label. I don't know if, because Vintai is a collection of wine people, so maybe there's more input, we don't know that. But it is interesting that Cañus Verus, which is a wine made by the people who make Matsu, basically, no offense, but nobody knows. And Matsu, everybody knows. It's in Carrefour, the young man wine. We call it the young man wine. You can find in big supermarkets. It's interesting how the original maker of the wines are not that famous.
Yeah.
But it shows you the power of marketing, that the people who buy it. And
Everything is about marketing.
It's a win-win, because these guys make wine and sell wine, right?
And it is not rare that the branded label, the ones that you see as the cool label, sometimes it's much more expensive than the original ones, and you have the cheap version, the honest and cheap version. But even knowing that, sometimes the branded version, it's a bestseller. Why? Well, this is the power of marketing. Behind Matsu, there is good wine. We have here the chance to try these wines for much less money. But there is something also magic in the branding of Matsu.
Yeah.
The idea of
everyone copies Matsu now.
Yes.
Putting faces on and stuff. Matsu were there first. So I'm sure these guys are really happy, because maybe they sell their wine with their label this much, but thanks to Matsu,
yes, and also
sell
it's
that much.
exactly this is the
People
business
have-
of some wineries to make wines for others.
It's fascinating.
There are like different examples of this business. There are other cases where the original winery is so famous and so prestigious, then you can use it in the label. So
like
the winery
made by Marqués de Riscal or something.
or whatever for.
So it's almost like a director presenting a
Yes, you create like
presented by Martin Scorsese. Oh, must see this film.
Teardrops of Jesus by Marqués de Cristal.
By Marqués de Cristal. Yeah.
And
That's
It's very dramatic, right?
Semi-sweet wine, sparkling. But yeah, so interesting topic.
And so next time, when you have a bottle of wine on your hands, turn the label and check
who's it produced by.
Yeah,
who's it
if
bottled
it's
by?
Because you will get that information in all the bottles of wine of Spain. What is the winemaker and who is the owner of the brand? Also, you will find a code always with a RE. Okay, that's a Registro de Embotelladores. That is that code. If you follow, it's publicly searchable in the website of the Comunidades Autónomas, of the regional governments. You can go and find who is the person in charge to bottle the bottle you're drinking. So that information can give you a lot of ideas of who is behind the wine, really behind the wine.
Sounds like a Batman bad guy. Who's behind it? But yeah. Right. Can I talk about vines now?
Please.
There's a photo. I think it just says La Viña. I want you to leave this on screen. Because we're talking about vines. I won't make this too detailed. I just want to quickly go over the idea of the vine, because look at this, it's a cool photo. We talk a lot about this grape, that grape, blah, blah, blah. But there's a whole lot of agriculture involved in just one plant. So just basically, I want to very quickly go through all of these different parts of this wonderful plant that gives us this amazing drink, just so you understand roughly what's going on, how it's going on, how they deal with it. So I already mentioned that in that last photo you saw of the vine, it was a singular sort of by itself plant, which is called a bush vine or a copa en vaso. But then you can also get trellises. Now, most wine you'll get most of the time is on trellises, as is the case in this picture. We always talk about roots. You can see the root system there, or the root stock. The root stock is basically all the bits of the roots up until it leaves the ground. It's pretty obvious, basically. Graft union, this is because most vines that you get in Europe are actually grafted onto American root stock, which we have talked about in the past because of all the phylloxera killing all of the European vines. Anyway, you'll see the trunk. Now, again, most of you know what the trunk is. This is not rocket science, but the top of the trunk bit is called the head. And this is where everything is going to grow out from. Here, in this case, left and right, you've got the cordon and the arms and stuff. The arms are and the cordon is these kind of main horizontal supports from where your grapes will start coming out. So if you've ever seen a trellis, a long vineyard, it looks like it never ends. These are essentially just sort of straightened out horizontal cordons and arms, basically. Now, you see there's a little bit on the top left that says shoots or canes. You can kind of interchange this word a little bit. So when shoots mature and become wood, they get called canes. You usually kind of cut those off because it becomes solid wood, which is not very useful. Shoots are the younger green stems, which you obviously need because they're going to produce leaves and fruit. Also, we don't really see it on here, but buds, obviously buds, we know what buds are. They call them yemas in Spanish, yolks. These are on the cordon arms, and these will be giving rise to the shoots. We call it bud burst. So in sort of springtime, all the arms and cordons that are sort of splayed out will burst into life in these little shoots and canes later, but these shoots will sort of shoot out, basically. So, well, these shoots will start to grow, and they'll start to proliferate, and leaves will grow. I don't need to explain to you what a leaf is, and you'll get flowers and fruits.
Explain to me, please.
No, a leaf is a leaf. What you get this little funny little thing called an inflorescence, which is essentially it looks like a small, almost like a little pine cone, but that's what will grow into the grapes, basically. You will see things like tendrils and whatnot. Oh, someone's calling us. Do you want to do that while I'm talking about the plant? Tendrils, by the way, just these small, thin, wispy things that come off the stems and stuff, but you don't need to worry about them too much. But if you see the very far left part of the picture, you can see the tendrils. They generally help the plant sort of station itself. So if you've got a wooden post, or you've got in this case you can see there's like a wire mesh, they'll kind of help latch the plant onto that, which is kind of quite clever really. And then when you've got this all grown, you've got your leaves, your flowers, you've got all that kind of jive, that's what's called the canopy. And the canopy is what you're going to basically worry about later on when you have your picking season. Now, those are most of the aspects of the plant itself. There's two things you're going to have to do though, which is pruning. Now, the first one, poda en verde, is this chap here. This could be springtime, there's a very white floor, that looks like Ribera del Duero or Jerez. Poda en verde. The pruning, basically the vine is all about, this sounds so sexy, it's all about resource management. So the poda en verde, what you want to do, this is usually finished by May. Yeah, let's get rid of your face. That's better. Hide. Oh no, put your head up so it looks as if this is you.
I don't.
I wish is that one. I wish. The green, the green pruning is very important because in the growing season, your shoot, yes, it's a plant, right? So even though it's a grapevine, it will grow all over the place. So you need to make sure, like this guy is here. Perfect. You see where his left leg is. You see those little green bits there. He will need to take those off. Every bit, every shoot, every flower, every leaf that is not where you want it to be, growing wherever it wants because it's a plant, you want to get rid of that because that is sucking away all the nutrients of that plant away from the grapes, basically. And you're trying to concentrate all of the growing power where you want it, whether it's in a bush vine or along a trellis. You want all those nutrients that it's been gathering from the sun and from its growing period to be focused in making the grapes you want. So that's the poda en verde. There's another one which I call winter pruning, which sounds, this is a much less sexy photo we've got for you. So basically this is what happens after it dies. Well, no, it doesn't die, sorry, it goes dormant. Now, even though you have no grapes coming out because it's maybe, winter time, this is often maybe like late in the year, sort of after the harvest, start of winter, your green part's gone. It's not dead as a plant, it's just dormant. So you will still find those little canes, you'll still find bits of wood. This is still going to be sucking the life out of your plants. You want to get rid of those as well. There's another extra one you can do after your first green harvest if you find that it's, maybe have a late bit of rain and it grows again. But all of this is about yield. You don't want to have too many grapes because let's say the local government says you can produce 10,000 kilograms of grapes in your vineyard legally. Any good winemaker would want to make 3 because it means everything, all of the goodness. Let's imagine it's a pie chart, 100%. You want it concentrated, this 100% here. So all of this resource management, all of this gardening is almost the most important thing of all of winemaking. Oh, I've got semi-toasted second-year-old barrels. Great. But you need to make sure you are making all of that effort in the vineyard to make sure that what comes out of the bloody grape has flavour. It's all about resource management and gardening.
Wow.
I love it.
If you're still there, thank you very much.
I genuinely, I find agriculture the most fascinating bit because it's the bit I understand least. I had this idea because I was having a conversation with Victor from Bodegas Lithinia, and all the Americans were fascinated about how because Americans are also happy gardeners. He was like, they were like, oh my god, so why'd you do this? Oh, and I was like, this is really interesting. And he said, this is where the magic happens.
Yes.
Not in the
Happy gardeners. If you haven't seen the film Being There with Peter Sellers and Shirley MacLaine, I would recommend you highly.
Shirley MacLaine is an insane woman, but yes.
Yes, I love her.
Okay.
Well, so see how much information we get
From
behind this humble bottle of
humble
wine.
little bottle of Toro, exactly.
So this custom-made Por Para wines and the podas.
The bothers.
The podas.
Yeah, the pruning. Sounds better in Spanish.
The podas.
So as usual, we hope you enjoyed the wine. We hope you enjoyed our tasting. The next one's not until next Monday. I think.
Yes, and
But yeah,
I hope to see you there.
I don't really care if they're there or not. Nah, I'm just joking.
Please give us a like, subscribe. If you
Hit the notification bell.
leave us a comment if you want.
Or
please.
if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, because we have 4 more tastings this month. There's no rush.
And show some manners in your comments, and that's all.
Oh, no, I don't know. Show fire.
No, you don't want that. Thank you very much. See you
Soon.
next week.